Hey guys, we have a breaking news story in the IFBB right now. Just got announced by Tyler Mannion, Vice President IFBB, that we have a new division. And this division is essentially bikini of 2015 as announced by Tyler. We're going to go into what they're looking for, why the new division was created, and all that, and what you need to be doing if you want to be doing the new division. But I am very excited about this. This is a great Christmas present for everyone in the IFBB. So if you are watching this on Instagram Live or on YouTube Live, please leave the questions in the comments because I'm sure there's going to be a lot to cover with this new division. Now, with being a coach since back then, since 2013, 2012, when bikini was, I think that it was at its peak when it was at 2015, 2014 bikini. The shows that we had back then were huge. Now, I was in Colorado. Everything was a little bit more local than it was online. Everything's changed quite a bit since then. But back then, it was, very, very local. But I'd have, 20 plus girls at a show doing a show at a local show. And you'd see, for example, the Rocky would be a good example of that. At the Rocky, you'd see, 400 plus athletes back in 2015, 2014. It was always in those high numbers, 250, 300, 400. Now, of course, a lot of that was because of the men's physique too, but the bikini division was a lot more obtainable than it is now. A bikini now is leaner and bigger. Well, maybe not always bigger in some cases, but in some areas like the glutes than figure was of 2015. So we've evolved quite a bit in the bikini division. So now they've said, hey, let's bring it back a little bit. Let's bring it back to making it accessible and obtainable. There's a lot of people that were involved on this whole thing. I was one of them. We've been talking about this for years. I talked about this with Tyler before. Other coaches have too. I definitely don't want the credit or anything like that. But a lot of coaches have said the same thing, and we've all said, hey, bikini division now is great. We love the bikini division now, but it's very, very specialized. It takes a lot to get there. And the entry level for the athletes, we're talking 5 years or so for most people to get to that level of physique. Now, not a problem. I think all divisions should be hard. It should take a while to become a pro. I think in any sport, it's going to take a while to be a pro. 5 years, that's super realistic to be a pro in any sport. But a lot of these girls can't even compete for 3-4 years before they step on stage. So this brings it back a little bit to the 2015 look is essentially the criteria. And we're very lucky that we have today. Tyler mentioned, Ashley Cotwell's her 2015 would be the look that they're kind of shooting for. How great is it that we have Ashley still competing? Back then, she was number 1 in the world. Right now, she's still the number 1 American, number 2 in the world. So we can pull up her pictures and look at, okay, what is he talking about of 2015 bikini versus now? So let's go ahead and pull up what she was looking like in 2015. Now, I'm doing this really fresh as news just came out, so excuse the roughness of this video, but I wanted to get it out and go into it. So looking at Ashley in 2015, this is her on 2015 on the right here, and looking at her, there isn't I think a huge difference that you're going to see in these pictures in the front pose, and a lot of this is lighting. She is a lot more muscular than she was in 2015. So before I keep going with this, on my end, can you guys see it on my end when I'm pulling up Ashley? Just let me know. So again, video is going to be very rough because we are I'm doing it really, really rough. I'm just getting this news an hour ago. All right, so Ashley of 20, this is Ashley on the left of this year at the Olympia, where she got number 2 in the world, the number 1 American athlete last 4 years, I think, 3 years, 4 years. And then here on the right is where she won the Olympia in 2015. Now, the difference is a little bit harder to spot because the posing is so different and the lighting is so different. But one thing you can see is her legs are a lot fuller in the overall quads. You can't see it from the front here because the posing is different. The glutes are a lot fuller, a lot harder. We'll get to that back pose. But one thing you can see is the shoulders are a lot more capped than they were back then. They're a lot more developed. They're a lot more capped. And her arms are also a lot more developed than they were back then. In the upper body, you can really see that. And I'll let you guys in on a secret. in 2015, Ashley didn't work her lats. She didn't need to for the division. Okay. Now we have to work the lats to create the hourglass shape. So there's going to be a different look and a different criteria for this division. Back then, lats weren't a thing. You never heard from a judge, oh, she needs bigger lats. Like that would be crazy to hear back then. It's just not a thing. You would just never hear that. So, but now, in the bikini of, I guess it's bikini now, that you do need lats. You need lats, you need arms, you need shoulder capping, you need that ultra lean conditioning. Where the biggest changes is going to be in the back pose. And this is something that has kept people from doing bikini for a while. I ran into this problem, and I'm really glad that this came up, that Tyler took it into consideration. This is something I've talked to him about it before many times. I even made a video about it showing all the differences and whatnot. And I wanted this division to happen for a couple of years now, because I thought it made a lot of sense for the division for what I was running into as a coach. And what I'm running into as a coach is a lot of these athletes are running into that window where they can't build any more muscle, or they can't compete in the division naturally anymore, and they don't want to use PEDs, or they just don't want. A lot of the girls just don't want to be that big. There's a lot of women out there who just don't want shoulder caps like that, but they still want to do something that's competitive. So they kind of had nowhere to go. It was like, well, either I get really jacked past my comfort zone and I compete in bikini, even though I don't really want to look that big. They're always like, it's cool, but it's not something I really desire. I want to be able to, wear a dress and not have these big shoulder caps, but that is something that isn't really available to them, right? So this gives everyone that option and that availability, which I'm really happy about, because I run into it a lot, as a coach. Again, I'd have 20 plus girls doing a show in like Colorado that were all just local, because many women can fit the division on the right, but very few can fit the division on the left. And not just that very few can fit the division of today's in bikini, it's that the amount of times you can compete in bikini looking this hard, this lean, this full, all at the same time is a very small window for most people. Ashley is not a good example of that, because she can look like that all year for the most part, but very few people can compete multiple times throughout the year. Usually how it goes is we're building someone for 6 to 8 months, prepping into a show for 16 weeks. Maybe we'll do 2 shows, 3 shows that year within a 2-month, 3-month period, and then it's back to building again. And so the window that they have to compete all the time isn't there. But with the new division, I remember exactly how it was back then. Women walked around looking like this pretty much all year. They'd get in a little bit better shape for the show, but it was just very realistic and very normal. How it was told to me before was, bikini of now, I'm speaking as a coach of 2015, bikini as of now is, we want a girl to look like she's going on a beach vacation. She's very fit, and she knew that she's going on a beach vacation. So maybe she dieted for a few months, like a couple months going into that vacation, but not a, full shredded tie-ins with shoulder capping, that type of thing. So what the judges were even told was, we don't want it to look like a figure girl. We don't want it to be that level of conditioning. We want it to look like a girl on the beach who decided that she was going on a beach vacation a few weeks ago, but she always worked out. She was fit. She played sports. She looks like she's on a cover of a magazine, but not anything past that, right? It was always the defining thing. And back in 2015, when I was coaching, I'd have a couple girls that would push the limits, and I would hear all the time, she's getting a little muscular. It looks like she's been lifting really hard, really heavy in the gym. Has she been lifting really hard and heavy in the gym? And these days, you don't hear that. Like, you just don't hear that. Oh, is she working out hard, like too hard in the gym? There wasn't really a difference in bikini of now and then, I will say, just so you know, in terms of the lifting part of it in the gym. It's not going to be easier, guys. Like, it's not going to be like significantly easier in terms of the gym work. The gym work for the new division of Fit Model will be very similar to bikini now. They are still muscular. I'm already having people send me pictures of Ashley of 2015, and they're like, am I too big for this division? And I'm like, you're still not at where Ashley was then, now. Like, it's still muscular. It's still hard. It's still full. The differences are, it's not as muscular. The conditioning isn't as crazy. You should be able to compete multiple times throughout the year. Everyone should be comfortable with this level of fitness. It shouldn't be so crazy hard where you're like dying anymore to get into that level of shape. But let's go ahead and look at the back to take a look at this. The biggest differences of Ashley of 2015 and now is look at the hardness of the muscle, right? There's a lot more density to the muscle. Now remember, it's been almost 10 years. So of course there's more muscle, of course there's more density, of course there's more detail. Ashley going back to this physique would be pretty hard to do. I don't even think, like, she'd have to like not work out to get back to this division. I don't even know if it would look similar because, you know, she's has a lot more muscle maturity. She's been lifting hard for, you know, for 10 years now. So I don't think that's going to be necessarily a possibility, but it's good to see the differences of the two. Now, look at the difference of the upper glute with Ashley in 2015 versus 2024 at the Olympia. Look at the difference of the tie-in with Ashley in 2024 versus 2015 when she won the Olympia. But look at the differences of the hamstring. The hamstrings they're more detailed, but they're not necessarily a lot bigger now versus then. So the shoulders, look at the differences of the shoulders and the arms, significantly bigger. Look at the muscularity of the back, significantly bigger now and more dense. So is this going to be a, you know, total game changer? You know, is really the question for everyone. Is this going to be the total game changer for it? I think it's going to give a lot of people an opportunity. I think that we're going to get a lot of the people back that we used to have that we don't have anymore. And I think that that's going to be a huge benefit. Now, I'm a coach that's been around. I've been around too long. I've been around way too long. I am no longer trying to have a big competition team. That is not something I want. I don't have as many coaches as I used to have. I just want it to be my small team of athletes that I work with. But this is going to be great for other coaches who do want to grow, who do want to get to those big teams. You know, when I used to have, you know, close to 1,000 athletes at one point way back in the day. But those days are gone for me. I don't want to work that much anymore. I love what I do. I do it as a hobby now. I love it. But it's going to create a lot of opportunity for coaches. It's also going to create a lot of opportunity for athletes who don't want to use PEDs. Because let's face it, a lot of girls out there cannot look like today's bikini standard without PEDs, and that's just the reality of things. That is going to be a big differentiator between the bikini division and the fit model division. Is going to be that PED thing, and then also years in the gym. You know, you're not going to look like today's bikini top Olympians without putting a lot of years in the gym. So yeah, so maybe you want to get to there eventually, but at least you have somewhere to compete now, and then you get there eventually, you know, to that division. That could be something you aspire to do. So I have some people in the comments who are saying, I'm ready to start up again. And I think this is going to be one of the better parts of this, is a lot of people who left the sport because it got too muscular. And this is something I was even telling, you know, the IFBB uppers when this division was in the works. And this is something that we've talked about. I created a video for them too. And it wasn't just me. Again, I do not want any credit for that, but it's something that a lot of coaches have been asked for, and telling them that, hey, this is what we're running into in the field. Bikini, as it's defined on paper, is not being awarded as what it's defined as paper. It has changed to something different. And so this is a way for them to say, hey, this is on paper, this is what it is. We're not going to go past this division. Now, one of the things I've already gotten questions about is, will this change the current level of bikini? And now were they going to basically release it and let them get as muscular as they want? And the answer to that, I can pretty much guarantee, is no. I don't see them needing that. They already have wellness. They already have figure. It's already very muscular. There's already blurred lines at times between the upper body of a figure competitor and a bikini competitor and a wellness competitor. You see that kind of blurred lines already. So it's not something that I think is going to change anything at all, but it's going to bring some people back. I think that it's a great thing for the sport. Okay, and what's cool is I already have a ton of experience with this. I already know the posing. That's one of the things when he said the posing was the old posing. I was like, oh, I used to pose people like that for years. You got to, guys, when I was starting off in my career, I had a posing seminar. Me and Tori have done it for over 10 years. We had a posing seminar for free every Saturday for over a decade. Isn't that crazy? For over a decade, every Saturday, minus out maybe a month or so for Christmas because it was always slower during the winter time. But every Saturday we used to pose that way. So I was like, hey, we're going to be doing this this posing again. I've been posing like this every weekend for I don't know, it was like 8 years before they changed it. And we still have those seminars. So now in our bikini posing seminars, we will include the regular bikini posing and the fit model posing. I already know how to do that posing, which is great. This will also create opportunities for posing coaches because now they have to learn the other posing, right? So that's good too. So it in more opportunities for other people, more opportunities for people to compete. Great for promoters, so promoters can get more numbers to their shows. And for all you girls out there, you don't have to wait, 7 years to get on stage or make the choice of, hey, I don't want to be as big as these bikini competitors are now, and you have to do it to compete. So it's a great thing. And there's another person here. I'm getting a lot of comments in Instagram saying this is why I left. And I'll tell you, a ton of people left because of that same reason. They either didn't want to look that way, they didn't want to diet that hard because it was too much for them, or they didn't want to take drugs and they didn't have the genetics to do it naturally. And that's just all those things are all three things that are like you have to really consider in today's bikini is, hey, I don't want to wait 10 years, 12 years to look like that. Hey, I don't want to look like that, period. I don't want my shoulders to be that big. It's not a look that I want. Some girls just don't want that look. So this is great. All right, so I'm going to go into these questions here now, guys, and just keep them coming. All right, so one of the questions comes in. It says, do you think this is because they let bikini get carried away or they just let it evolve? Yeah, and I think that's the thing is the divisions slowly evolve. They don't just like happen. It's just what happens, especially at these bigger shows or I'd say at the pro level, you'll have some judges that like really know the criteria well. And then some judges are bodybuilder judges. And honestly, some of them probably should study bikini a little bit more. And those ones are always picking a little bit more. And it's like, oh, just a little bit more. Oh, she had a little bit of time. And so you go a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And you do that at all the shows throughout the year. And then at the Olympia, you get the best judges and they bring it back down. And they say, this is the criteria. And like, well, why was this girl winning at these other shows? Well, the judges of those other shows just went for a little bit more. But then throughout the year, everyone's bringing a little bit more. And the next thing you know, the judges have nothing to pick from. So it's partially the judges' faults. It's partially the athlete's fault because everyone a little bit more to meet the criteria. And then the judges have nothing left to pick from. So it's a combination of things. And then it gets to this point. That's what I see, but I don't necessarily know that's exactly how it goes. But it is, you said, so it's a little bit more and then it gets to this point. So hopefully this division, they keep it here. I think that they've realized, hey, this needs to happen in this division. We can't let this division get to where bikini is now and then let bikini get to figure and figure gets to women's physique. Women's physique gets to bodybuilding and bodybuilding, I guess, just keeps getting bigger, right? That's what kind of happens. All right, looking at the other question, you said, I'm going to read more of these questions. I have to read. Okay, so here's a question. For model, does that mean the judges will choose the most beautiful girl? No, I don't think that that's ever going to be a criteria in the IFBB, but it does matter in terms of they call it beauty flow, which is your hair, your makeup, your tan, your complexion. This is not a fitness model contest. They have those. This is not what the IFBB is. Physique. It's a physique contest. But all those things do matter in bikini in terms of we call beauty flow. All those things, your proportions, your suit, tan, hair, makeup, nails, all that stuff needs to be to that beauty standard. But no, they're not going to be going off of just looks. That's not the division. That'll never be a physique division in the NPC. That's not going to be a thing. All right, ton of questions, guys. Thanks for all these questions. I'll keep them going as long as I can. How long has this been in the works? I don't know. I don't know how long it's been in the works. I, made videos about it and explaining the differences, what we're running into in the industry, and sent them, like over a year ago, and did a whole thing, a whole synopsis on it of what we're seeing now and what I think that the new division could bring to the organization and how muscular it's gotten now, and maybe some changes that need to happen. But there's a lot of coaches that have been involved in that and talking and giving feedback. I was just one of many. So I imagine I've been talking about it for a couple of years. So I imagine at least a couple of years it's been like kind of in the back of the minds of everyone. And they decided now is going to be the time, which is great. I mean, what a way to start the year. What a Christmas present to everyone out there. All right. Lexi says, so many coaches hating on this. This is amazing. And to see you supporting it, Adam, you're great. Hey, thanks, Lexi. Yeah, why would you hate on this? Especially if you're a coach. Why would you hate that bikini is going, they're having a division, which was the original, basically, bikini, which, guys, it's still crazy muscular. Like, if half of you think you look like Ashley Kaltwasser did in 2015 right now, you're probably kidding yourself. It is, most of you listening to this video will still have to build to Ashley Kaltwasser of 2015. Like, I think a lot of girls just think they're automatically more muscular than Ashley was in 2015. And I'm like, who are you kidding? Like, that was an amazing physique. It was a crazy good physique. I've already had a couple people text me pictures saying, I'm too muscular for the new division. I'm like, no, you're not. You're still less muscular than Ashley was in 2015. Like, what do you think? Like, you just passed that Miss Olympia physique because the division changed a little bit. So no, it's going to take a lot of people still time to grow into that division. It's still muscular, guys. It's not an easy division. That's why I'm like, if someone's hating on this, they weren't a coach back in 2013, 2012. Like, because you don't know what it was like back then. I coached people since bikini started. It was never easy. Like, I don't know why people think they're just going to like walk on stage and it's going to be easy. It was never easy. Like, it's harder now for sure. Yeah, it's way harder now, but it's never easy. Like, that's crazy. That's like saying men's physique was easy back in 2013, 2014. They're bigger, more muscular now, but it was still really hard to get on stage back then. Like, you're crazy if you think it's easy. You're going to be doing glute bridges, legs, 3. You're going to be training shoulders. You're going to be doing all the same things. You're going to be doing it mostly naturally for most of you. And maybe you're going to get to that physique in a period of, 1 to 3 years versus 3 to 7. That's like the differences. But the workouts are going to be almost as hard, if not just as hard. For most, it's going to be just as hard. Like, don't think this is an easy street by any means. Like, it is not going to be an easy street. Like, oh, no, I'm ready all the time. No, it's still going to be a challenge. Yeah. Look, here's another great question from Fit Life DJ. She says, also, it's great division for those who have a hard time getting their tie-ins developed and visible enough, depending on their fat distribution. Absolutely. That is a big point. Some of these girls have that really thick skin. They're not genetically blessed with those tie-ins, and they just can't get those tie-ins. No matter what you do, they have a little bit of a tie-in, and it's just not enough. It's just not enough for today's standards. That is a real thing. So it's going to be great for them. I do remember that 2015 Ashley did have some tie-ins. She had a little bit. There's a little bit, just a little bit there. So there is going to be some definition needed. And then another question from Annabelle says, will this be an opportunity to go pro? Yes. Actually, it's going to be an opportunity to go pro in 2025. And then the pro shows will start happening in 2026. I don't know if the first Olympia will be in 2026, but this will be a pro opportunity in 2025. I can't imagine what my emails will look like in the next couple of days from this. There's going to be a lot of competitors who have been struggling with enough muscle that are like feeling relieved right now. And they're like, I'm just going to go down to the division before that. I'm going to just relax my shoulders a little bit. My glutes are already where they need to be for the fit model division, and I'm just going to do that division, Will there be a master's division for this new category? I would assume so. I can't speak for the IFBB, but I would assume, yeah, in 2025, I would see that probably happening right away. All right, he said, I love everything about this division. Attaining Ashley's look in 2015 is so challenging. Wish they allowed bling on the suits, though. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. They have to differentiate the divisions, so I'm cool with that. And it makes it more affordable, too. That is one of the cost barriers of people competing, is having the suits. And hey, that could be a great like graduation thing for you. Maybe you're doing bikini, you're doing fit model right now. Later on, you want to go to bikini, and one of your graduating things that you look forward to is getting that bling suit. Yeah, I want to do bikini, want to get to that bling suit level. Like, I think that's a cool stepping stone, and if you look at it that way. So, but yeah, in the meantime, it'll be more cost effective. You remember, this is an intro division, just as bikini was originally designed for. Remember too, guys, if you haven't been around for a long time, remember how the bikini division was created. The bikini division was created because of the flex model search that happened at the Olympia. And one day they were like, hey, our flex model search is bigger than any other division that we have here. Why don't we make this a division? And then with that, men's physique and bikini were born from the flex model search. So it was essentially a fitness model contest to begin with. And now it is a physique fitness model contest again. So I'm pretty excited about it. There's we'll see how this year goes. Again, I don't want to have a big team. I just want to have my small team, and I do this as a hobby now. But I can imagine some guys are really going to take off with this. I'll probably coach a few more people for it, but nothing crazy. But it's going to be really good for everyone out there, especially like posing coaches, suit makers, people who've been stuck not having anywhere to compete. Promoters especially. We got to love the promoters. They don't. I think you guys think you see promoter and you think they have like a ton of money and they're crushing it. Like the numbers at these shows for how much work goes into them and how much they make, it's not like what you guys think. Like I've done 2 shows, I've promoted 2 shows. It is not what you guys think for the amount of work that goes into it. So I'm really happy for them to have this opportunity as well, because more numbers, means we're taking care of our promoters better, which means better venues, more prize money, more opportunity for everyone here. So let's see, any more questions here? Look, a lot of these girls are saying I'm coming back. A lot of these people are saying I'm coming back in the comments here. They're dusting off the hills, coming back, emailing you for a comeback. A lot of these, hey, that's great. I wonder if it's actually gonna work out that way. Why did they choose this type of front pose instead of just doing the bikini posing? Well, I think they just wanted to differentiate it. They wanted to differentiate the 2 divisions, and you went to the older posing just to differentiate the 2 because it is going to be close between them visually. So this will be a clear visual difference. I think that's probably the reason. I can't speak. I'm just going off of what makes sense to me. So that would make sense. You differentiate it when you're seeing it on stage. So more questions coming in. Do you think this will cause bikini to get more muscular? No, I don't. I think it's muscular enough. Also, are they saying Ashley's posing is the standard, or are they saying she is the standard? They're saying 2015 Ashley is the standard for the new division. And yes, just making sure because she does have visible ab etching, although not gradient. Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna allow some abs. Ab etching. Some girls just have them. Like Ashley is someone that just has abs. She's a track athlete, So that's never going to be. It just can't be overly etched. So now, as far as the division is going to get more defined as the year goes on, and it probably won't be. It'll be super defined when they start announcing pros, like new pros, in 2025, and then of course it'll be really defined when they have the Arnold and the Olympia as the definition of this is the criteria. But what I'm really happy about seeing in these comments. We have Anna Weeks. She's saying, I may actually step on stage again. She's another client or another comment that says Iron Maiden Fitness. She says, I've always wanted to compete, but the PEDs put her off, which is going to be, hey, that's a common thing. It's pretty unlikely for many to compete without PEDs in today's bikini standard. So this is going to create opportunities. Like I've said, this is what I really love about this. All right, so a lot of the questions are similar too, but keep them coming in the comments, guys. But this is a good day. This is great for the division. Even if you compete in different divisions, let's say you're a bodybuilder and you're like, oh man, another division. You should be happy because your shows are going to get more prize money for the bodybuilders. You're going to have better venues for the bodybuilders. Promoters are going to have more opportunity. There's going to be more fun backstage because there's more people to meet and talk to, more people getting into our community. That's how it starts, and then they're going to go from fit model to bikini to figure to wellness, whatever, and that's just how it starts. Just like when you started bodybuilding, you started off with maybe you had more of that classic look or more of that men's physique look, and you evolved to bodybuilding. So this is good for everyone. So anyway, guys, that's what I got for it. Keep your questions in the comments. I'll come back to the comments on YouTube. I hope you guys are great. I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you guys all for all the support this year, and I'll talk to you later.